I'm Sid, and these are my best friends. My mom, Kim, my dad, Ty, my sister, Maddie, and our salty dog, Stella. We started our adventure refitting a Lagoon 450 before taking on the massive project of resurrecting a sunken 2021 Leopard 50. It's been one heck of a ride, but we're on this adventure to die with memories, not dreams, and live dauntless.
Hey guys, welcome back. I have a super exciting episode for you this week, and that is about air conditioning. And not just any air conditioning, but super high efficient air conditioning. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about or why you would want to be back here, I suggest that you jump down into the description and check out a link of this boat that I'm sitting on. This is a 2021 Leopard 50 that the original owner sank on the maiden voyage and basically destroyed it. And we've built it back up, and it's just a super exciting journey to be on. So welcome. If you haven't been here before, watch that video and make sure you like and subscribe. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's get back to the subject of why we're here, and that is going to be air conditioning. So it is hands down considered a luxury on a boat, which just seems crazy to me, which is fair enough because alternating current air conditioners, which we've all been using since basically boat air conditioning came about, are really inefficient. And I mean really inefficient. So it takes a tremendous amount of power to cool down your boat, which means that really for you to have air conditioning in the past, you had to be running a generator or you had to be on a dock and you had to be plugged into shore power. And when you were out there, well, that was just the sacrifice that you had to pay to go sailing or boating, was to just kind of sweat your butt off until you got back. Well, technology is advancing, and it's advancing in our favor, and that is really what I want to share with you guys today. We're turning the corner of being able to have sustainable boats on the water and running air conditioning and being comfortable at the same time. All right, we're going to take our air conditioner and its energy appetite, and we're going to put it on a diet. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to switch it from AC, or shore power, like you'd plug something in at your house, and we're going to run it on DC, or battery power, direct current. And these new systems use so much less energy than they used to use in the past. So with technology advancing in air conditioning, and then on the other side, the advancement with lithium iron phosphate batteries, and more efficient solar panels, all of these things are allowing us to conserve our energy and use it more efficiently so we can get more things operating and running, or get those things that we have on our boat to run for longer. With the technology advancing, what we really have run into is a new era where lithium iron phosphate batteries and advanced solar, advanced air conditioning running on DC power, all of these kinds of things are allowing us to give more comfort on our boats for a longer period of time. And really by using a lot less energy, because the efficiency has gone up. Because in the past you had to be on that generator or shore power, well, they didn't really care how much energy it took. As long as they were able to cool it relatively close to the amount of power that was available to them, that was good enough. And that just doesn't do it for the modern boater anymore. And I really want to make this boat run almost entirely off sunshine, if not off sunshine alone. And this is one big key element to it. Because to be honest, we really want to be comfortable. If you're hot and sweaty and uncomfortable and it's wet and humid all of the time, it really doesn't make the boating experience that much more fun. And if I'm not a salty sailor, or I'm not a real sailor because of that, I'm okay with that. So let's talk about how I'm going to do that on this boat. Now, I need to give you some background on this boat. So when this boat was built and designed, it had a chiller system in it, which is kind of like a large air conditioner, but instead of cooling air, it cools a liquid called glycol. So they mix some glycol with water, and that chills down really cold if you're trying to produce air conditioning. Then it circulates through the boat through some tubes and goes to what they call an air handler, which would just be the backside of this air conditioner, which is nothing more than kind of a radiator that the air blows across these cooling ducts or heating ducts, and that's what allows you to transfer the heating or cooling around the boat. Well, when the boat sank, which if you watch that video, you'll be able to see what happened to her, that chiller system is obviously completely destroyed. And when I went to look at putting a new chiller system in, the price was just like, it blew my mind. It was so expensive, and they're really not very efficient. We're talking 3, 4, 5 kilowatt an hour times 24 hours. I mean, we're talking north of 100 kilowatt a day of energy. That's a lot of energy to be using. So after I kind of ruled out the chiller system, I wanted to go the self-contained unit. So this is what a self-contained air conditioner looks like if you haven't seen one before. There's a control box that the main power feed runs into. You hook up a thermostat to it, and it tells the fan when to run and the compressor when it wants to turn on and off, or whether it should make hot or cold. Pretty simple, straightforward deal. And so I was looking for like the highest efficiency unit I could find, and believe it or not, I found it. There was a challenge with it, but I did find it. And if you guys have not seen the channel, Emily and Clark's Adventures, Clark's this mad scientist engineer that stumbled upon this really super high efficiency rated AC compressor. And it is really, really efficient. Problem is, it's only 5,000 BTUs, so it's great for cooling a cabin. So if you guys are looking for DC air conditioning and you're looking for something in that to cool one small cabin so that you can sleep, or have a reprieve, or your kids need to take a nap or what have you, I would highly encourage you jump over and do a search on their channel. I tested the unit, it works as advertised. It's a fabulous little unit. The problem is it's only 5,000 BTUs, and this boat needs between 60 and 70,000 BTUs of air conditioning, so that wasn't going to work. So my next search went to who makes a 12-volt air conditioner, or 24 or 48, that would allow me to run it on DC just in higher volumes. And I did find a couple obscure companies. There's some small hand-built units that are in the state of Florida here, and they're pretty pricey, and I just wasn't quite sure about the cost that it was going to take. It was going to be more than the damn chiller system to be able to add these in, because they were really expensive. So then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to 12 volt. And we all know of some 12 volt units that are available that are out there. And so I started researching the 12 volt units, and I ran into a few challenges there. And the challenges I have is, one, I'm a 48 volt boat, so I've got to step down to 12 volt to be able to run them. Number two, they only really kind of operate on true DC up to about 12,000 BTUs. Anything higher than that on offerings is really an AC unit that just uses a converter to run a DC unit. So you still have to take battery power, convert it into alternating current to be able to run an air conditioner. And then that's just ridiculous. So the third stumbling block with that was they're outrageously expensive. And I mean, outrageously, 2.5, 3 times the cost of what an equivalent unit would be in alternating current. And I have a real ass burn about that, because the units don't cost any more to build. And a control box, a compressor, and a fan are virtually the same price, whether they're direct current or alternating current. So I got really frustrated with that whole process, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to the source. So I called China, and China, the company that actually builds those units for real, that manufactures them. And I said, hey, do you guys have any 24 or 48 volt units that are available, something other than 12 volt? And they said, yes, we do. And lo and behold, I'm sitting right next to one right now. And these are crazy efficient. So this is a 12,000 BTU unit. This is gonna go in our port aft cabin. And to give you, and we're gonna get into more of these details in the next couple videos, and I'm going to go through not only how to install them, how they charge, how the units operate, but I'm also going to go through our experience and data from our last boat with regular air conditioning, AC air conditioning, and compare it with these units, and of course other data that's available online to kind of show you where we're at. But I'm going to give you a sneak peek behind the curtain. 12,000 BTUs. This is a DC 48 volt. This guy only uses 15 amps of power at max full boogie when it's trying to cool down as quickly as possible. That's only 720 watts, guys. The equivalent Dometic or other 12,000 BTU units that are out there are running at about 10 or 11 amps at 120 volts. Well, that's 1,200 watts an hour. So already you can see there's a big jump. That's about, my math is correct, it's about a 57% of the energy to run this versus the other. Then you take into effect that your batteries, you have to convert that energy into AC power to run them. That's another 3 to 6%. So we're looking at 40 to 50% energy savings once you look at the entire picture to be able to run one of these units. And that is a big deal. Now that kind of energy savings is super exciting, but what I haven't told you yet is the fan and the compressor are variable speed. So you can set this fan to auto and it will increase and decrease the fan speed based on the load. And as you get closer to set temperature, the compressor actually slows down. So unlike old school units where they're all on or all off, the compressor scales up and down, so the energy efficiency actually even increases more from there. That is really, really exciting. Okay, so to recap, the reason I've kind of done this intro video is to be able to kind of lay all this groundwork so that the installation and operation and seeing these are just more in bite-sized pieces, and it can really kind of slow down a little bit, and everyone's kind of able to absorb really how these are working and what the real numbers are. This isn't an advertising deal. I don't own a company that sells these units. So it's not like I'm trying to sell air conditioning here. I just want this technology to be available because it is there. The technology is there, and I want to show that it's actually possible. So before you get ahead of yourself, I will share or be able to facilitate at some point us getting these air conditioners and us being you and me in the boating community. But I am not going to recommend them, and I am not going to share that information with anybody until I get them in the boat, I run them, and I have that data to share with you, and I will be doing that in a future video. I absolutely promise you. All right, to wrap this up and put it in a nutshell, you guys know that we're going to be doing DC air conditioning. We're going to guinea pig ourselves on an entire boat of DC air conditioning, and I don't know of anybody else that's done that I'm aware of, or that at least has done it and published it yet. So we're gonna be kind of on the forefront of this, and I'm really excited to share the good and the bad. Keep in mind, this is going to be a trial and error type of a thing. We are doing this for the first time. We're working out the bugs and the kinks, and we're gonna show you exactly where all the pitfalls are in this process. You're gonna see how we install these units, where we put them, how the ducting goes. That's gonna be an important thing. So the most exciting thing is after they all get installed, I'm going to share with you all of the data on the energy consumption and what it actually costs to run these. Each one of these units and any sort of water pump that's going to go on to support it is going to be on its own energy meter. So we're going to get real world numbers on a 50-foot catamaran in South Florida in the heat to show you what it really takes in energy. And then you can decide how much solar and battery power you need to put in your boat to be able to run this kind of air conditioning for you. And when we get to the end of this, if I'm happy with the way they run, which, gosh, I really hope that I am, and they are performing as they were advertised to me, you'll be able to see for yourself if this is something that you want to put in your boat, and we'll work out the details of how to get them later. But in the meantime, I'm going to get to work getting these units installed, doing all the testing, and putting some video out for you guys to see and kind of chew on this information and see if it's going to work for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe. If you like this video and you're excited to see more content like this, make sure you leave a comment and like it. And if you guys are going to be at the Annapolis Boat Show and you're watching this in the fall of 2023, there's going to be a link that'll save you a couple bucks on tickets down here, and we're going to have some meetups, and we're going to be at the YouTube booth and a bunch of other things. We can't wait to meet you guys in person, say hi again this year, and answer any questions. And the next time I see you, hopefully there's going to be cool air blowing through my goatee, and I'll be able to tell you all about it. See you guys next week, and have a great weekend.